But I don't think people are that dumb. I think they're going to realize eventually here that the usage of the network is different from the token, the value of the token. We're live for another episode of Token Narratives. This is episode 86. I'm joined by David Sencil. We are going to be going through, what's up? We're going to be going through our predictions from 2025. Did we actually get anything right? And we're going to be making 2026 predictions. Excited for this, David. It's been a crazy year. It was a crazy year. I'm sure we're going to have another crazy year ahead of us. Let's talk about some of our predictions from 2025, starting off with a prediction around Bitcoin L2s, right? So we basically all were pretty confident that Bitcoin L2s would disappoint. We didn't think, at the start of last year, there was still kind of a lot of hype around, finally Bitcoin L2s are going to have their year.
I think it was a holdover from 2024. You remember 2024, There was like mega hype, especially in the second half of 2024. A lot of the conferences, all the conferences I went to in the second half of 2024, everybody was talking about Bitcoin L2s. There seemed to be like dozens of them. I think I even took pictures of them. You and I took pictures of them, just like the word salads, like indecipherable.
That's right. And so we pretty much faded that trend, and I think we were proven correct. Like, I was doing some research this morning. I don't follow the Bitcoin L2 space that closely, David, but did some research this morning. So let me see what I got here. Basically, okay, well, there's the Lightning Network, right? The most famous Bitcoin L2, arguably not really an L2, but anyway, Bitcoin Lightning, did it have a banner year? Not really. The capacity of the Bitcoin Lightning Network did reach an all-time high, but it was actually down for most of the year, and it just barely cracked its all-time high at the end of the year. So and we're talking about 5,350 Bitcoin is the capacity of the Lightning Network,
which is
about 250 Bitcoin on the year, right? So
which is nothing,
very marginal,
right?
Which is nothing, exactly.
Because
that's the whole point.
The capacity, the capacity is misleading, right? Like if you know the technology, that just means what the whole network can do. But on any given what's it called, two-way connection, it's going to be a much smaller amount of that, right? Like it's going to be less than 10%, I imagine.
Okay, and exactly. And so anyway, the capacity, it's a metric, and it didn't massively increase. I mean, okay, Lightning Network though did. So one stat that was interesting, dug up for me by the machine, which is that 15% of Coinbase's BTC transaction volume supposedly is now powered by Lightning. So that's kind of some level of adoption there. Then you have, I don't know if you remember this one, David, the Square announcement mid-year. Square announced that they'd be enabling their sellers to use, to accept Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. So that actually did happen in 2025. It didn't really roll out though till November. Still hasn't rolled out globally. So let's see if that actually gets adopted. But there is some, what would you call it? Corporate level adoption of Lightning payments. So that's one piece of the Bitcoin L2 story. Then there's Stacks. So Stacks is one of the bigger Bitcoin L2s. Transactions did double over the year. However, the number of active addresses actually dropped. So Stacks hasn't seen a huge amount of adoption. Similar story with Rootstock, and in both cases, like the TVL, the total value locked on those networks, we're talking like low 100 millions. So even by comparison to like a tier 2 EVM chain like Sui or Sonic, formerly Phantom, those are above $1 billion. Those are north of $1 billion. So the Bitcoin
Tier 2, shots fired.
Exactly. So this data, by the way, is from Masari's State of X reports. They put out a ton of these. They're awesome. So shout out to Masari. Another one is BitVM. So this is like it stopped being pure vaporware in 2025. They did launch the bridge mainnet in July. Looks to have north of 100 million TVL. So again, not huge. Definitely, I think we're correct in saying that Bitcoin L2s would disappoint. They haven't died, but they haven't like taken off.
Yeah. So a couple things on this. I would the only thing I would really amend is, so I think we were 100% right in terms of like, it wasn't going to grow in narrative importance, nor in like attention or probably capital formation or anything like that. So we definitely hit that. But at the end of the year, we did talk to one Bitcoin L2 person, and I actually was surprised by what he said, which was last year they were, so 1 year ago, they were kind of looking for investors. So this is like end of 2024. They were looking for investors, people to invest into their Bitcoin L2. This year, they weren't doing that at all. They were kind of turning people away, and it was all about them reaching out to partners looking for yield. And kind of the calm way he was talking, and he seemed like much more relaxed this year. It was just like, yeah, we have all this money, we got all this investment, and now we have a ton of Bitcoin, and we have that kind of the happy problem of finding people that we trust to find projects that we trust to then seek yield on the Bitcoin. So in that sense, I think that that seems healthy to me, right? Like, so maybe the L2s are going to kind of consolidate, and they're just kind of operating under the radar because it's not kind of sexy and they're not seeking investment. However, do you remember when we talked with Hasib from the Chopping Block, Dragonfly Capital? I think it was at WebEx. I believe you asked him about Bitcoin investment. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
And he said the Bitcoin L2 space is not interesting to him whatsoever because there's too many players. It's too many projects. And he said it won't become interesting to him until there's kind of major consolidation or a very, very clear winner. And so I think that stuck with me ever since then. And I don't think we're going to see any change in this until that happens. Because people like Hasib are not going to really, really start putting in a lot of new capital and supporting new projects until it seems like there's a clear winner or like a clear path to kind of dominance for applications. So,
all right. Okay, so moving on to another prediction we made around Bitcoin privacy. So Corbin predicted that private Bitcoin, he said private Bitcoin is inevitable. He said like there's going to be launching sort of private privacy chains that enable Bitcoin to be bridged into private environments. That did happen. Yes, like there's a wrapped version of Bitcoin on Xano, that enables private Bitcoin, and there's things like these solutions do exist, but it's very niche at this point, and I think the real thing that was maybe directionally correct with this prediction was that, as we saw, like privacy just actually finally became a big narrative with the explosion of Zcash and zk sync privacy tech and all that happened towards the end of the year. So kind of directionally correct there on that. Just maybe like the privacy on Bitcoin itself did not really actually happen.
Yeah, I agree that the idea that privacy was important, he nailed that, but I would say it's about 50-50 because Bitcoin privacy, I don't think really is a thing, and I don't think it will be personally. So.
Yeah. Technically, there are some solutions emerging, but I know. Actually, looking through what we said last year, David, you said that specifically, you said that governments will fight private BTC extremely hard and crush it if it actually does start to emerge.
Yeah. Also, I just don't think institutions. It's like that becomes a negative. Do you remember not to get derailed here, but like about a month or two ago, Nick Carter was talking about privacy on Bitcoin, and he said that he went down this rabbit hole, 2015, 2016, and he came away with the idea that a private coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Zcash or whatever, will never, ever, ever, ever have the same market cap, liquidity that a completely transparent coin will have because of the threat of hacks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so
the threat of an inflation bug, you wouldn't know that there's an inflation bug, right? So you wouldn't be able to verify like this supply exactly. So maybe there's a solution to that in the future, but I do buy that argument right now, at least.
But the thing is, it's not even that you could say maybe there's a solution. Let's say there is mathematically a solution. It's still not. There's still a risk that it could go undetected or go undetected for a certain amount of time, just because of the nature of privacy. So it's just for like sovereign wealth funds or governments or institutions. They're just not going to tolerate even a minuscule amount of risk in that. They want something completely transparent that everyone can see, and you can have all the eyeballs on it. So I don't know.
Yeah, for their digital gold product right now. For another product like I don't know, some kind of medium of exchange, perhaps. Yeah, privacy is more needed, but that's sort of serving a different use case. So moving on, another prediction that we made was around Bitcoin ETFs. I said Bitcoin ETF assets under management would hit $300 billion by the end of 2025. That did not happen. At the start of 2025, it was around 110 billion. Now it's at about 120 billion. And the high watermark was 170 billion. Now, of course, this is influenced by the price of Bitcoin itself. I have got a prediction for this. We'll talk about it later in the episode. But anyway, I was wrong on that. Too optimistic. And according to the AI summary, at least, you did agree with my thesis.
I agree with the thesis. I believe, but I didn't specify an AUM or anything like that. I don't think I did. Yeah. But I think if you look, like you said, this is based on the price. But in terms of just the number of Bitcoin, right? Like it's been up only, right? From start of the year to end of the year. And so maybe that's a better metric.
Up, but not massively up. So.
Yeah. Okay. But I think that's probably a better metric than like dollar AUM, because that's basically a beta of a price prediction.
Well,
right? It is.
I think both are, it's true, but both are important because people don't invest in ETFs or Bitcoin in general by the amount, the number of Bitcoin. They think of it in dollar amounts.
Yeah, I mean, but I think though that a cleaner way of making that prediction is just saying like, what is the price of Bitcoin, right? Because that's kind of what you're doing if you're saying AUM,
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Moving on. Our worst prediction, I think, was around the AI and crypto, the AI agents. I for one, was fully enraptured by the hype, the AI x crypto hype at the end of 2024. I got wrecked in all my investments there, and we made predictions, ridiculous predictions, like David, you said, quote, "This is the DeFi summer of our cycle."
Yeah.
And
to be fair,
we were. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we were saying that basically
was,
these
2025.
yeah.
Crap year.
We were saying that AI agents would be like crypto AI agents would be doing everything, like doing all your trading for you. I said it's going to break governments' heads. Basically, they're going to there's going to be like businesses run like AI agents running businesses using crypto as the rails, and like governments are going to be trying to like tax AI entities and things like that. None of that happened. It all just turned out to be kind of a flash in the pan, an annoying, actually persistently annoying thing on X.
Really annoying.
Really
annoying.
The AI agents, just like, I don't know what they're doing, but just making generic comments on every post and kind of just destroying the discourse on X.
Not only that,
so hopefully
the images. I hate AI images now. I can't stand them.
They look gross.
So damn annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
And the AI writing slop, like when you're reading an article or anything more than a paragraph, and you're like, "Oh God, this is AI." Ugh.
There's a lot of we both have a lot of pet peeves around that, or like
AI fatigue, bro.
Where it's not it's anyway. I don't know. there's and then people hate the M dashes. I hate the use of bold. Anyway.
I mean, we've talked about this internally, but I hate the bullet points, the bullet pointification of everything. Yes. And you see this on like internal communications. It's like, all right, team, this is what we're going to do. And then it's like 10 bullet points. It's like, I know what you did there, buddy. I know exactly what you did.
All right. So moving on around, we made some predictions around sort of geopolitics, U.S. policy. David, you correctly predicted that crypto would boom in the U.S. under Trump. You said the U.S. would become the number one crypto innovation hub thanks to clearer regulation. You said miners would thrive. You said New York City would have a resurgence. Not sure if that actually happened. And you said the Vegas Bitcoin conference becomes massive. You went there, David, last year. Was it?
It was huge. Massive? It was crazy. Yeah. It was really, let me think. For me personally, it was probably it was the most impressive conference I went to. Probably like Token 2049 had more glitz and whatever, all that glamour crap. But that's kind of, I felt it was kind of gaudy, like it's crazily gaudy. But when you went to the Vegas concert, I talked about this already a ton. When you just saw like these giant, actual steel, huge pieces of mining equipment, and it wasn't just one. There was like 5 or 6 of them, and they were just huge, physically imposing. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. Maybe the coolest thing I've seen at any conference in the past 2 years. And it really, like I said at the time, and I've said since, it just like gave you the it really conveyed like how kind of the money behind all this, right? Like just all this infrastructure, physical equipment, capex.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so moving on. NFTs, David, you predicted NFTs would rebound strongly in 2025. That did not happen.
No.
NFTs are dead.
I will say this. I'll say this though. Part of that was that NFTs would do well compared to meme coins. I would actually claim that that's true. Meme coins, if you were to track like meme coins versus NFT, if there's like a meme coin NFT chart, this is to say that
they're both down bad, but one might be down slightly less bad.
Really? Way worse. I mean, meme coins got absolutely decimated this year.
Yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine, by the way, David. Decimated. You know that only means 10%. You only lost 10%. That's what decimated means. Do you know that?
Word sell loser over here. Don't word sell me, old man.
All right. So we also made some price predictions for Bitcoin. I said it would hit 195 and as low as 89. You said 175 as low as 80. Corbin predicted one high of 150, low of 70 to 80. So Corbin was the closest. The actual number was 124 and a low of 76 on the year.
126.
So Corbin actually
126.
Okay. Corbin was pretty close there. ETH, I said it would hit as high as 8K, as low as 3 to 4. David, you said 7 and as low as 2.8. Corbin 7 to 3. The actual number was just under 5,000, and it dropped as low as 1410. So we were all wrong on. So we were in general we were too bullish for the year, especially on Solana, which is the other one that we predicted. I said it'd go as high as $1,000. And it would end the year at 400. And David, you said it would also go hit 1,000, may go down as low as 250. And Corbin was was closer, at least on the low. He did say it would reach 800, and that the low would be less than 100. And the actual low was $95, and the high for Solana for the year was just under 300. So, of course, Solana pumped massively right after Trump coin launched. And then Corbin said this in our episode as well, that the reason Solana will like drop below 100 is because, the Solana users are transient. And that proved right.
Well, I would caveat that I think the Solana users were made transient by insanely extractive meme coin games where you had like basically these like cartels and pump.fund style things where they just took the money and there was no return. Everyone just got rinsed, and then that's it. You have no more money. Get out. So to me, that was the story of Solana this year. Basically, was mass extraction, mass extraction, which you didn't see necessarily in like the more prolonged markets, bull markets.
Yeah, I actually have a similar prediction for 20 because we're moving into our 2026 predictions now. I actually think that a similar thing is going to happen with prediction markets. They're going to become like meme coins, like an insider game, like people with I don't know, like you've seen it now. Like there's all these people posting their scripts for like how they're like automating their like prediction market trades with I don't know, like sentiment analysis and getting in really quick. And it doesn't I guess the surface attack area isn't as great as for prediction markets perhaps as it is for meme coins, but I do think that a lot of the sheen of you can make money on prediction markets will wear off as the professionals dominate it, and like retail sort of gets rinsed.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest difference here though is you can't scam prediction markets.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like you can
not in the same
coins.
way that you can with a meme coin.
I mean, it's not even close, right? Like these people make the meme coin, and with the full knowledge that they're gonna.
But I do think liquidity. That the hopes and dreams of prediction markets traders will fade as they realize that they don't really have any edge.
Yeah, of course. They have edge now, but the edge is like going to be gone in weeks. Here's how I know. I'm not going to name the person, but over the New Year's holiday, on New Year's Eve, I was talking with a friend, an acquaintance, whatever. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing right now?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm using Claude Code to write a prediction market bot." And exactly. that to me is like that's
everybody's
probably a sign
doing
that that's a sign that thing is done. That game is now closed for business. But
because I'm assuming this person that they're not necessarily at the bleeding edge.
Oh, of course not. No, definitely not. No one I know is like that, unfortunately. You and me included. So
exactly. That's how I know it's over. If I'm seeing like copy paste scripts for how to like extract money from prediction markets on my feed, I know that it's not actually going to work once I get around to doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I still think though that prediction markets will probably have a really, really, really good year, especially with the midterms coming up and all that kind of stuff. It's just Anyway, we can get into this later, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they'll have a good year. I think there'll be some scandals around them that I'm not sure if it'll lead to anyone going to jail. Probably, yeah. I would say people will go to jail over prediction market scandals in 2026.
Yeah. But that's to be expected, and I don't think that here's the thing: I don't think these will be
that's not going to take down the prediction markets.
Yeah,
it's going to mean the someone, for example, the Venezuela thing, right?
Yes, yes.
If investigators find out that guy who put $30,000 on the Maduro attack or the Maduro extraction hours before it actually happened and made $400,000, if they figure out who that was, that guy is going to jail.
I have a stronger prediction than that. I think that they already know who the guy is, and the guy will go to jail or is already there secretly.
Exactly.
That's but the thing is, I mean, you can, like we talked about last or in the weekly, that has nothing to do with the market itself. Those are just like participants who are acting in self-interest and maybe breaking lots of laws, making a lot of people upset. So it'll be bad if you get things like, you remember OpenSea, I think it was last year or the year before, where someone who was working for OpenSea was what were they doing? They were posting NFTs somehow. It was like some insider trading thing. It was like someone who and then they got fired, and I think maybe the SEC went after them or something like that. Something like that is bad. Or there was that person from Coinbase as well who was doing something like that for meme coins, right? They knew that they were going to list certain meme coins, right? And so then they were buying. That would be a negative on the prediction market, but I don't think anything like that's going to happen, like major like that, from people working at prediction markets, just because of the way the business model works. I don't know how you would be an insider and scam it, right? Because it's all like
similar to exactly. Yeah. So they're more immune to that kind of insider, like platform level insider trading.
Well, because they would have to know the future, right? They would they'd have to know what's going on.
Like they don't have any special edge just by virtue of working at Polymarket.
No, they don't. I don't think.
Well, I guess the one issue though is the way the markets resolve. There might be some.
Well, no, I would say the opposite. The opposite would be like Polymarket. They're the ones who instantiate the markets, right? So potentially there's some kind of like programmatic slight alpha generation thing where you instantiate a market and then you instantly put in liquidity on a certain
you get in before the market figures out what the correct odds are or something.
Yeah,
you get in a better rate.
You get, but it would be a very, you'd have to be pretty smart, and it wouldn't be like a big take, because it's still a prediction market. You don't know what's going to happen, but you might be able to get like a 1 to 5% edge, right? Across all markets, you know? So anyway, that could be something, but
what?
No, just, but that's not like what we're talking about, like big flashy.
Yeah.
You know, I've turned $300 into 400,000 kind of thing.
Okay, I want to move on. So one of my big predictions for 2026 is that the quantum FUD will fade. In the last quarter of 2025, quantum FUD ramped up. It's like all over the timeline in the last month or so, 2 months. I think it's going to fade. I think people will mostly just forget about the so-called quantum risk. Now, I came to this conclusion mostly after I listened to a lot of several podcasts about the quantum FUD on Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm not an expert on it, but the one that tipped it for me was the Gwart show, and he had this guy Reardon. That's not his real name; it's like his online name. Anyway, this guy basically, I don't know. It made it click for me. The guy thinks that basically the quantum is theoretically real, but the evidence doesn't show practical scaling toward breaking modern cryptography. So like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but this, according to this guy, right, the real bottleneck is logical qubits and error correction. And he's saying that until we can see real world breakthroughs there, it's just like narrative noise. And then even if they do, so basically he's saying they're not like, yeah, they may have improved the number of, or they're growing maybe exponentially the number of logical qubits, or the number of physical qubits, but they're not actually improving the logical qubits rate. And so it's not scaling like people are sort of saying that it's scaling. Then even if it all actually does, if they somehow like make these breakthroughs, there's still like credible upgrade paths for Bitcoin, multiple credible upgrade paths for Bitcoin. And anyway, this guy said he's basically nearly certain that we will not see a quantum break of elliptic curves in the next decade. And I recommend listening to the episode. It all made a lot of sense to me. I also read on the other side like Nick Carter's 10,000 word treatise on the topic,
two part,
and I don't know, this guy Reardon, he is a Bitcoin developer, and seems like a smart dude. I don't know. I think it's gonna fade. All right,
so
that's it.
Let me ask you a question, just to kind of pin you down on the prediction. Do you think the FUD, so the narrative, is going to fade? Basically, is that it?
Yes, because people will realize that actually it's not really a threat.
Okay, so I think there's another. I agree that the FUD will fade, but I think it'll fade because what Carter and those quantum people are trying to do is just get people aware and like have this on their like radar for, we need to address this. And I think that mission has been and will be successful this year, and it'll fade because people will be looking at it, and it'll be like,
okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So it'll fade.
Yeah, it's not going to snowball into a panic.
Yeah, it's a mission accomplished kind of thing, right?
Mission accomplished, and the threat probably isn't really serious. The combination of those two things will mean that we've sort of got it in the bag, and you don't have to worry about quantum FUD anymore.
Well, I think it'll be like, I think you'll have like actual like companies and developers who are going to be working on this, and so it'll be when you have people like Vitalik. Remember at the end of last year, Q4 2025, he even talked about it. He's like, "Yep, this is something. It has to be on Ethereum's roadmap. We're taking it seriously." So I don't know. I don't know. It's preparation, though. That's what I think. Carter's FUD is
exactly. And I think on the Vitalik note, I think he took note of the criticisms from 2024 and 2025, and he is trying to be more proactive now, and that's an example of it.
Okay. All right. So all right. My first prediction, speaking of Vitalik, it kind of concerns him, is that ETH narratively outperforms Solana this year, and the Sol ETH chart, if you look at the Sol ETH chart, it reached an all-time high last year. The Sol ETH all-time high is never tested. It doesn't even get close to being tested. I doubt it'll even get to like 0.07 or 0.065. So I think ETH comparatively outperforms Solana in 2026 because for a number of reasons. But basically, ETH has been like just manhandled, and rightly so, for like the past 2 years, probably more. But before last year's prediction episode was 33. I also briefly went through episode 32, and the hook for 32 is who is the biggest loser of 2024? Ethereum, and everyone laughed and everyone agreed. So Ethereum was the biggest loser of 2024. We all agreed at that, and we laughed at stupid Ethereum and how crap it was. Ethereum also had a pretty terrible 2025. You could argue that it was the biggest loser of 2025, but I don't think it was the biggest loser because you could start to see the ship turn around at the end of 2025. Vitalik and company have been just beaten down so hard. They finally got the message. They're turning the ship around. I thought Vitalik's X posts in December were great. I thought he's finally taking on that leadership role again. Ethereum is going in the right direction. On top of that, I think Solana is kind of in a difficult spot right now. And a lot of people have talked about this, right? Like there are competitors for performant L1s, right? You have Monad, you have Hyperliquid. And so this thesis that Solana has had is being challenged, and they could still be right, but they're gonna have to fend off these competitors now. Meanwhile, Ethereum has been beaten down so hard. You have Base, looks like it's doing well. You have institutions have clearly favored Ethereum, and I think with along with some of my other predictions, institutions coming in more strongly into the space, they're going to prefer Ethereum. And so all of this means that Ethereum relative to Solana will do better.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting prediction. I don't disagree, but I don't think it's going to massively outperform Solana. So it might do slightly better. I think in both cases, they're kind of they still have this massive problem, which is that usage of the network does not translate to value accrual of the token. So yeah, maybe Ethereum is going to get more usage than Solana, but does that even translate to value of the token? I don't think so, really. People say that, like it doesn't, like it's all really matters is narrative. People think they're investing in this thing, but I don't think people are that dumb. I think they're going to realize eventually here that the usage of the network is different from the token, the value of the token. Finally, they're going to realize that. Maybe I'm being naive, but that's what I think. I think, David,
hold on. I need to make a note right here. Hold on for the editors. Around 37. It's around 36:30. Graham says people aren't that dumb. Clip it. Biggest prediction, biggest prediction of the year. You're wrong on that for 100%. Graham says people aren't that dumb. Clip it.
So David, your prediction, you're just like pure black pilled. People are dumb.
No. Oh. But come on, dude. We're talking about markets here. We're talking about 2025 Fartcoin. Fartcoin was the future of finance. And here you say 1 year later, people aren't that dumb. There's no way. No, I'll take the other side of that.
Fine. Okay. Well, I think, okay, whatever. Like, what performs better, ETH or Sol? I don't. Yeah. Okay. But maybe the more interesting question, David, is what about Bitcoin dominance? Is that going to rise or drop? So my prediction actually is that Bitcoin dominance will continue to rise. So currently we're at just under 60%. I think it'll be closer to 70% towards the end of the year. We're going to see a continuing grind higher in the Bitcoin dominance, i.e. like the percentage of the entire crypto market cap that Bitcoin constitutes. So
wow.
Basically, I think it's what I just said. Structurally, the rest of crypto is broken. Tokens don't accrue value even if their networks are used. I think people will not be dumb and realize that. And
you'll lose every time on that thesis, buddy.
Okay. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's product market fit is real. It's obvious. It's like increasingly known around the world, and I think like it and stablecoins are the things that actually have product market fit in crypto. And like, okay, fine, Ethereum or prediction markets, yeah, those have product market fit, but they don't accrue value to the token. So I don't think it's going to be like a euphoric year for crypto, and in such years, that's when you see like a crazy hype and value, and like the stupidity comes in, and people are like, "Oh, Ethereum's going to be changing my life." I don't think that's going to happen. So therefore, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to sort of just grind up.
So you don't think it's going to be a euphoric year? Do you think it's going to be a negative year like 2025 was?
No, I think it'll be like Bitcoin will end the year higher than it is now, and crypto will continue its march into mainstream adoption, but most of the value accrues to private businesses. Not tokens.
I don't have a informed opinion on where Bitcoin dominance will end the year, but I will say this: I think Bitcoin dominance is going to go much lower at some point this year. I can see it going higher than now. I could see it getting to 65, 70. Like I've maintained this, right? I don't think we get an altcoin season. I don't think we get any kind of thing like that until Bitcoin dominance runs. And I frankly haven't seen it run very much. And the reason that it hasn't run is because 2025 was slightly down. Bitcoin was down 6%. How can altcoins don't perform better when Bitcoin goes negative, right? So anyway, I do think though that So I do think though that at some point this year, Bitcoin dominance will go substantially lower than it did in 2025. Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so that's it's one of my other predictions, which is 2025 was not a bull market for crypto. It wasn't, obviously. So number one, that means the 4-year cycle is dead. So if you look at the 4-year cycle, right, that was the third year. The third year was negative, right? The fourth year, this year, is supposed to be negative. So I think structurally that kind of means something is definitely different, right? If you look at a year chart, it's 1, 2, 3, green, 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 red, green, 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 red. This one was green, green, red. Now what? What are we going to do? Green? I think I agree with what I've been saying and what people like Arthur Hayes and whatnot have been saying since the middle of this year, which is the macro situation is looking like we're going to have just a massive amount of QE, massive amount of liquidity injection. So I love Michael Howe, and it scares the hell out of me that I don't line up with what he's saying, right? So that makes me think that I'm wrong. But at the same time, I'm just looking at like all the other stuff, and it does look like that we're going to have just a massive amount of liquidity injected into the market this year. I mean, look at the news that came out yesterday or while I was sleeping. Trump said he just went out and posted like, I'm telling Freddie Mae, whatever, to buy MBS, mortgage-backed securities. That is like straight up 2020, 2008 style QE, right? Just like testosterone right into the base of the, anyway, just max liquidity. That's QE. That's QE infinity. So if that kind of thing does happen, and that's being like articulated in January, what happens when he gets control of the Fed, when Powell steps down? And if that kind of liquidity comes into the market like that, that's got to be good for risk assets like crypto. And I think you would see not only a massive catch up on Bitcoin, which had a bad year versus stocks and gold, but then when Bitcoin has its crazy run and that cools off, you're just going to see all that speculation just flow into the altcoin space, which is going to be, I think, absolutely beaten down during that time, right? So you'll see Bitcoin dominance rise, and then people are going to be like, okay, let's get into this whatever crap is there, and it'll just balloon like crazy. Briefly, you have like maybe a true alt season. So that's one of my predictions.
David, you're saying liquidity is going to pump. They're going to print. The money printer go burr. It's going to pump Bitcoin, and then eventually it's going to pump crypto. That's your prediction.
Well, the second part is not part of my prediction. I mean, I think we're going to have a proper bull market this year. I now I'm hesitant to get into timings. Once Bitcoin stops running, I do think you're going to get like a proper run. Once Bitcoin stops running, then yes, whenever that is, if it's
okay. And just to for the benefit of our listeners, so you mentioned Michael Howell. You said you love the guy. His framework is that the global liquidity cycle peaked in Q3 2025, and we are now entering a period where liquidity is draining from financial markets. Michael Howell, he speaks very confidently on this. He's got a tried and tested brain. If you like framework, if you listen to how he like tracks the global liquidity, it's like above and beyond any other method that like I don't know exactly how he does it, but he's got his methods, right? And so he is quite confident that liquidity has peaked, and so I'm inclined to trust him on that. David, he says it's might keep going with on the in the China side, but yeah, David, I do see your point. Trump is a wild card.
Yeah, I mean
somehow he'll figure out how to turn on the money printer to win the elections.
I mean, just look at.
I guess that's the thesis, right?
Well, yeah, but also just like look what he's done so far in 2026. I mean, it's crazily impactful, right? So, this thing with Venezuela. Now you have what's happening like right now in Iran. So you're going to get this like again, and you get these people, you get macroeconomic people who are talking about this all last year. So you make sure oil stays low, right? Low oil pretty much allows you to have to keep a lid on inflation. Low inflation
which means you can lower rates.
Which means you can lower rates. You have Trump saying things like corporations no longer can own single family homes. What effect does this have? This also helps to lower kind of the cost of living and lower rates. Maybe you get like deregulation in terms of building new houses and stuff like that, which is stimulative for the economy. He's going out and the government is now like he's directing organs of the government to just straight up go into the market and buy MBS, which was done like deep in the heart of these problem times. I don't know, man.
Mortgage-backed securities.
Mortgage-backed securities, yeah. So and that's just the beginning. That's January. So what happens when the tone with Colombia changes, which apparently is happening? Things happening again differently in Mexico. Things are opening up in Canada in terms of like resources as well. All of this just seems also like some of the macro people I follow. You look at like the CapEx spending and AI is not slowing down. Doesn't look to be slowing down whatsoever. And they haven't really tapped public debt markets very much at all now. I mean, I don't know. All of this just seems like wildly stimulative. And I get what Howell said. I followed him for more than five. No, I followed him for more than 5 years now, 6 years. So that's the other side of it, which makes me kind of question it. But again, and then crypto specifically, Graham, you have the things like crypto had a bad year last year, right? Like, so it does seem like there should be catch up, even if the liquidity is going down globally, which it could. You could still have a case where things are a little too hot in other markets, and so then they flow into crypto. Why would they flow into crypto? Institutional adoption is happening. Morgan Stanley just this week was like, the MSCI, psych, we're not, we're keeping dots in the index. Oh, by the way, we're launching 3 crypto ETFs. Oh, by the way, we're going to launch a crypto wallet this week. Super scammy, by the way. That seems super scammy of them. I mean, honestly, but so institutions are going to continue to pour in. That's going to accelerate. I don't know. All of this seems to set up for a good time for crypto, 2026.
Yeah. My gut feeling is that Bitcoin has got to mean revert in terms of its value of gold. So gold is pumped so massively. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to catch up. It's just like, don't make it complicated, stupid. Like, don't mid curve it. It's just gonna catch up. And when it does, it's going to be like, if it catches up to where it was before gold's run, we're going to be north of $200,000 Bitcoin pretty quickly.
And it's going to over catch up though, right? It's not going to just like.
Yes, because it's a very momentum driven asset, and people will feel the hype. Now, just on adding on to like what you're saying, right, about for example, Bank of America just 4 days ago officially started to allow its investment officers, or its rank and file guys, to not just execute client requests, but to actually try to convince their clients to get Bitcoin allocations of between 1% and 4%. Bank of America, several other of these, big banks, we're talking like probably $10 trillion of assets that could, like, even if just 1% of that goes into Bitcoin, right? That's like $100 billion, right? And it's going to go into the ETF. So I think the ETFs is going to hit 250 billion of AUM. Again, right now we're at 120 billion. And if Bitcoin increases in price by 40%, you're already up to like 180 billion. So then you don't need you'd need less than 100 billion more to get to 250 billion AUM. So I think we'll hit 250 billion AUM on the Bitcoin ETFs in 2026. And Bitcoin price will account for less than half of that. There's just going to be more flows into it. Thanks to things like all these Bank of America and et cetera, the wealth advisors finally getting their ducks in a row, and these are salespeople. They've got compliance now, and they're going to convince their clients because they make money.
Yeah. So I mean, I was looking back on all these predictions and how, going into 2025, we had the perfect setup too, right? Like all this regulation, Trump was just elected. And if you look on paper and you didn't look at the price, you're like, oh my God, crypto must have had an amazing year. Look at all what happened in 2025. It was crazy. And it wasn't. So that's also tampering. I don't want to get too crazily euphoric, but I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that Bitcoin will end the year positive in 2026.
Yeah,
right?
David, as I was thinking thinking about this prediction episode, at first my tendency was to be like, everything's going to be crap. And so actually that, I think, is the key here, right? You probably want to predict the opposite of what your gut tells you. If we would have been more correct last year, right? It seemed everything seemed obvious, right? Now it seems like everyone's bearish. So maybe the more accurate way is to predict that things will be rainbows and lollipops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Here's the thing, though, is that this is where I don't want to get into my end of. I think there's going to be incredible volatility this year. So I think you could have Bitcoin and all these altcoins and everything do really, really, really well, but by the end of the year, be massively down from their all-time highs. Right? I think that's absolutely in the cards. because
get ready to ride the wave.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, or at least like take profits or something, because I think we're definitely, you know, we're not getting like I think a lot of the price action or the growth could be ephemeral, right? Like,
yeah, well, David, I think
candy.
this is I think like in all of markets now are just bubble riding. Everyone's just riding bubbles from one bubble. I feel like that's what all investors have now devolved into. Like, you know, besides um, the passive cuck investors or whatever, but like anyone who's like serious, it's just all like, okay, what's the bubble? Okay, I'm gonna move from this bubble to this bubble, and it's just that it's time for the crypto bubble at some point. It's gonna happen.
I agree. Yeah, it's that hot ball of money idea, right? Like the hot ball of money moved out of crypto the entire 2025. Basically, it was all in AI, right? And for good reason. That makes a lot of sense. I still think AI will probably get most of the attention in 2026. However, some sliver of that will come back to crypto, and crypto's kind of deflated so much with respect to AI that will kind of juice the markets really, really well for crypto. So
yeah. All right. Nice. Got any other predictions, David?
Yeah. So my other big, so I wanted to give not lame predictions. And so my other prediction is
too late.
No. So the other one is, I'm going to steal this from like a couple people that I heard, but this resonates with me a lot. I think it's probably going to happen, which is this will be the year of M&A, right? Mergers and acquisitions. And the meaning of this is oh, no way. The meaning of this is basically like this is basically a beta prediction to the institutions are coming, right? So the institutions, they came in 2025, kind of. They announced that they were coming. But in 2026, they'll be here and they're going to start buying a bunch of crypto shit, right? They're going to start buying a shit ton of crypto companies. And I think it's going to become one of those kind of narrative fads of the year is M&A. I think at some point in this year, like we were talking about DATS last year, or maybe AI, agentic stuff, we're going to have like a 3 or 4 month thing where all we're talking about is like, who's the next purchase from which company, right? And I think that's going to be a big like, and it'll kind of be a fad, but it'll be like a trend over the next however long. But this year it'll be like this thing where Morgan Stanley or whatever, Chase or Bank of America, they're just going to start throwing money down and buying crypto shit.
Exactly. One of the better prediction episodes that I listened to was with Nick Carter and Matt Walsh off, what's it called? Forget the name of it. Anyway, one of their predictions was that a bank will acquire a crypto custodian. So that one made a lot of sense to me, and it fits in with your prediction here, David, of the M&A. There being an M&A season.
There we go, M&A season. You heard it here first. There's going to be an M&A season. I'm going to be going to conferences, Graham. We're going to do like a run of conferences, and like last year, it was like, is the 4-year cycle dead? What do you think about DATS? It'll be like, is this M&A thing still going on? Who's next, right? And that's going to be the thing, at least for a little bit. So yeah, right. And then I have a bunch of. I've got okay. Let me do some easy predictions. These are the ones that are just stupid and almost not worth saying. Stablecoins up only this year. Boom. We're going to be talking about stablecoins this whole year. It's up only stablecoins, narrative wise, market cap wise, product wise.
Yeah. Also from that On the Brink, it's called the podcast of Nick Carter and Matt Walsh. They said a consortium of banks will issue a stablecoin.
Yeah. So we're just gonna like, if we were sick of talking about stablecoins in 2025, it's gonna be worse in 2026. Let me put it that way. All right, so that's easy. Institutional adoption, right? That's gonna just continue everywhere. We're gonna be talking about that a lot. We're gonna have all these banks, and we're gonna have like scummy, shady, like crappy things like what Morgan Stanley just did. that kind of stuff is going to happen all over the place. By the way, that's a good reminder of how like you think crypto is just full of scams and like full of scammers and shady stuff. Like what they just did is just totally ridiculous, right? Last year, Morgan Stanley, the MSCI indexes, we're really thinking of delisting these DATs. You know, this is dangerous. We don't really like what they're doing. They did that for like a month or 2 months, 3 months. They announce it, and then in the same week, they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're launching ETFs, and we're releasing a wallet." It's like, dude, F you, man. F you. That's totally so transparently scam, right? It's got to be. Come on.
It's dirty. It's
dirty, dude. Super dirty.
Yeah. By the way, David, I just a bit of a tangent here, but have you heard about this conspiracy theory that J.P. Morgan, jacked the collateral needed for people who were holding MSCI on J.P. Morgan suddenly, which forced all those people to sell, which caused MSCI to nosedive, and then they went and bought it up at the lows. Did you hear this theory?
I haven't.
It's widely circulated in the Bitcoin conspiracy theory realm, specifically
the maxi space.
Yeah, exactly. It's TMCI. I forget the name of the podcast. It's a Bitcoin maxi one. And they had a guy on there who was very convinced of this, and saying that it's basically the banks it's one of their cards that the banks play to try to basically destroy Bitcoin / MSTR's credibility.
Yeah,
I mean, they've done this in the past apparently with other industries.
I honestly I tend to shy away from these kinds of things, but just looking at MSCI's conduct and then brazenly announcing this stuff in the same week is just kind of too much in your face. I guess it's like that meme, right? It always has been, right? You're like, oh, yeah. These banks are going on CNBC or MS, whatever, and saying this is a good buy. Meanwhile, they've bought it all for the past 2 months, right? Not financial advice. So again, whatever, man. But anyway, institutional adoption, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of that. We're going to see all these banks stealing our Bitcoin this year. They're going to be mass extracting the crypto people to get them to sell their cheap bags. Anyway, that's easy. Also, third one, easy prediction, perp dexes. Perp dexes continue to eat into CEX, liquidity, volume, IO, all that kind of stuff. I don't think it'll be quite at the pace it was in 2024 and 2025, but I think you'll still see at the end of the year, it'll be a higher percentage. So that's easy. Okay, here's my dark horse prediction. The current Claude Code obsession, right? That's been all over the timeline for the past week, 2 weeks. That's going to kind of fizzle out soon, right? We're going to see that fizzle out soon.
What are you talking about with prediction markets?
No. You haven't been on X over the break, have you? Everybody's Claude Code is the next coming of our Lord and Savior. Use Claude Code to vibe code applications easily and blah 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 blah. Everyone's using it. You had
that's even been happening all year.
No,
happened,
dude.
all of last year.
It's accelerated.
I guess I was just early to it.
And maybe. But this is accelerated in the past week and a half. Everybody's talking about how. Anyway, I think that this is going to simmer down, dissipate. But what you'll see is kind of quietly by the end of the year. Here's a prediction. By the end of the year, we're going to have a new crypto related or crypto adjacent app that gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of users, that's developed by one or a very small team of devs, first time devs. and it's gonna be like your pump.fun style thing, right? Like it'll be like a major app that gets a lot of attention, and it'll be like one of these kind of Claude code vibe coded deals. I don't think it's going to happen right now. Like I think the narrative is going to die here in the first quarter, but then sometime during the year later, that'll happen. Maybe from me,
Right.
Maybe it'll be me.
It's not going to be you. It's not going to be me either.
That's all I got. What about you? Any other predictions? Easy or hard mode?
Not really. I mean, I think Robinhood is going to dominate relative to Coinbase. Coinbase will be just fine, but Robinhood will continue to pull ahead as the financial super app, and that is simply because it's a financial super app. While Coinbase is a crypto app that's trying to be a financial super app. Well, so anyway, it's easy for Robinhood to like tack on crypto. Much harder for Coinbase to like be everything else besides crypto. So
I think I agree 100%, but I also think, though, honestly, I think Robinhood, they're just better at executing the tech than Coinbase. Everyone complains about how shit Coinbase is, right? Like the UI, the UX, all these like problems with the withdrawing and depositing. And when I talked with the friend of the show,
Vlad, great aura. The man has a great aura.
The man has mega aura, dude. He's got mega aura. He's shareholder maxing. He's a shareholder maxer, right? Guy's a shareholder maxing.
Ironically, I think.
Ironically, but also actually doing it too. But honestly, I hadn't been paying attention to like the tech behind it. And in our brief conversation, I was like, "Oh, so you're going to do these?" Like, we already have that. We already have that for stocks. We haven't done it for crypto yet, but we've already had it. I was like, Jesus. So they've already have all this tech. They're way ahead. The UI UX is amazing, is like world class.
They bought Bitstamp.
Yeah, they bought Bitstamp. It's been
in
doing
June,
great.
Right? So they got all these licenses, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to like tack on crypto.
Yeah.
And integrate it. Yeah.
They've got all this tech already. Like they basically already have tokenized stocks. Not on crypto rails. They did it without crypto rails. So then using the same stack and just adding it to freaking whatever chain they want. I mean, I don't know. I think they're the clear winner. I think it's theirs to lose. And I don't see anyone, unless they like really, really, really mess it up, I don't see anyone catching up with them. I don't.
Agree.
So, yeah, that's it. When are they coming to Japan? Vlad.
Yeah.
Japan. Yeah. When can I use Robinhood in Japan, homie?
Yeah, I'm sure Vlad is still here an hour and 15 minutes into the pod. Obviously, he listens to every episode. He doesn't always make it to the end.
How do you say? Tenev-san. Nihon wa do? Do desu ka?
Yeah, David.
Bad Japanese. Oh God!
All right,
whatever,
what
dude.
I think
you got the clip. Yeah. You got the clip of the podcast 36. Aurelian, I see that you're listening. Aurelian, 3630. He made a comment.
Okay.
He was in the comments.
Okay, I ain't got time for that.
Other predictions. Here we go. Here's a couple predictions. Let's do a couple token narratives predictions, Graham.
Okay.
I think in 2026 we're gonna have at least
breakout year.
Wait, I'm gonna be more specific. I think in 2026 we're gonna have at least one piece of our pathetic content go viral. At least one thing, clip or something is gonna go viral. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that prediction, we're kind of running into the prediction markets conundrum, because it's like, I'm just going to throw the dildo onto the court.
No, but that's like that's like with athletes, right? Like predicting that you're going to win is always okay, right? Like that's like morally defensible. If you're an athlete, you should be able to bet that you're going to win always. The problem is if you bet that you're going to lose because you can throw the game, right? That's where you have more control. If you want to say like token narratives is going to do worse this year than last year.
Oh, that's much easier to
well, you can do that. You can totally like
stop doing it.
Yeah, you can stop doing it, or like delay the content coming out, or ask this kind of thing. Delete the posts.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm going to, let's see, what's another prediction?
Wrench attacks. Got any wrench attack predictions?
Oh God. Yeah, up only. Wrench attacks up only.
Wrench attacks will be on the rise.
Wrench attacks will be on the rise. Hacks will be on the rise. I think conferences are, as the youngins say, the conferences are cooked until we start to get euphoric. So I would predict that maybe by the late spring, summer, you could see conferences make a comeback, but until then, probably a little more low key. Be my guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I predict that you're going to go traveling like 10 times this year. 10.
Okay. 10.
10.
All right. Let's do it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No one's
Sometimes
watching.
They let me out of my office here.
No one's watching. No one's watching.
Huh?
No love for the end of the podcast.
Okay, let's wrap it up, David. Let's I can't wait to do this episode again at the start of 2027 and see how many or any, if any, of these predictions we got right. I have a feeling we're going to be better. We're going to do better than last year, David. This is, second year doing it. We got a little more experience. I think I've managed to hedge some of my predictions such that the AI will treat me more nicely when I run the transcript through it next year.
All right, well, that's a meta game. You're there's two components there. There's the actual predictions itself, but then there's the language you use to better protect yourself against judgment.
All right, David, let's wrap it up. So, we'll see you next week for our weekly recap of the biggest news. And then, next week's Token
Happy
Nerds.
New Year.
Be having a special guest. Looking forward to all that. Thanks, as usual, for your insights, David, and have a great week. Adios.